This is our poster on motivation, and the definition of motivation is the direction and intensity of one's effort, and this was said by Weinberg and Gold in 1998.
Intrinsic motivation. These are the things that you do to help motivate yourself and the inner you. These are often related to having fun and your morals statements, such as, I didn't do it for fun and because it was the right thing to do. An example of this is normally women in sport have to have this because they don't get paid and aren't in the public eye like men are. They need to make sure they keep themselves motivated.
Extrinsic. This is where athletes are motivated by outside factors of sports. These can be such as money, press focusing on them, or winning trophies and achieving their goals. This means that they will be motivated not just by playing, but getting all the perks on the side, and sometimes maybe looking for the best paycheck rather than actually being the best player on the team. They might move to a higher club where they might not get paid as much just because the pay is better, and they think that's better for their life when it might not be. An example of that is Michelle Warne, who plays for Tottenham. He was their #1 goalkeeper for Swansea, and then moved to Tottenham and doesn't play now because they've got the best French keeper in the world. So he always sits on the bench, but he's on a heftier wage than he is on at Swansea, so I don't think he's doing too bad, and he likes it.
The next one is achievement motivation theory. This is what Atkinson in 1964 said. Achievement motivation comes from the individual and their motivation to strive to be able to succeed. An example of this is winning trophies, which would be part of their trophy, because if they win trophies they'll get money, they'll get sponsorships, they'll just get bonuses from winning the trophies as well. And this is where it leads into need to achieve and need to avoid failure. Where need to achieve is where you're driven to succeed for the feeling of satisfaction, like even if you've taken part, you know you've done well, but then when you get to a need to avoid failure, they have to win all the time, because if they don't win, they might lose all their endorsements they get with it. And this is need to achieve outweighs need to avoid failure, because they are high achievers. But then this need to avoid failure outweighs need to achieve, as they are low achievers.
Attribution theory is known as the factors we believe to have contributed to the outcome of a sporting contest. This means that it doesn't have to link to being consistent and motivated. This theory looks at the causes and attribution we use to explain success and failure. They are grouped into 3 different groups: stability, causality, and control. Example of this is internal: winning, I tried really hard; losing, I didn't try hard enough. External example is winning, my opponent was easy to beat; but losing, my opponent was impossible to beat.
The next thing, motivation traits and views. This is where motivate behaviour is primarily a function of individual characteristics. To make sure someone has this determined motivation view, they need to have goals to set for their, so that they have something to work towards, and that this is the primary factor in their life. This can change depending on the situation they are in, and this will make you either want to play or not want to play. So, say you might be in the Premier League, there might be a club that's in the midway through the table. Some players might think at the end of the season they might not want to play because they've got nothing to work towards, whereas if you're going obviously for the title, everyone will want to play as much as possible, because then they can be part of that feeling of win the league. Next one is situational set of views. This is where my motivation is depending on what situation you're in, and this will affect the way you play and the way you are within the game. That's kind of what I just said. That was like an example for both.